Hi. Okay. We are now recording and we are live on Facebook. Welcome everyone to our Palau webinar. We have three people on this panel today. My name is Tim, and I'm the General Manager at Bluewater Travel. We also have Scott, who is the CEO of Bluewater Travel, and we have a very special guest. Her name is Nicole, and she's from the Pearl Fleet. She's going to talk a little bit about the nicest boat in Palau, the Black Pearl. Nicole also has lived in Palau for 4 years, so she knows. So feel free to ask her all the questions you want. We are going to give a lot of time at the end for to answer all your questions. So I would ask everyone to please hold off on asking questions right now. I'm going to have a short 10-minute presentation, and so is Nicole. And after that, we can open up questions to everyone. So without further ado.
But if you want to get your question out right away, put it in the chat. I'll be keeping track of the questions. And yeah, feel free to put your questions in the chat if you want. I'll be queuing them up. Or you can wait to the end, either one.
Okay. Let me share screen. All right. Nicole, Scott, can you guys see the slide?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
it's beautiful.
Okay. All right. So welcome everyone to our latest travel talk on Palau. Palau is an incredible diving destination. If you don't know where Palau is, it is about 700 kilometers east of the Philippines. It is in Micronesia. It is close to Yap. It is close to Truk. And Palau is one of my favorite dive destinations in all the world. Why? Because it has one of the largest national marine parks in the world. And the reefs are really vibrant. There's lots of marine life. As you can see, it's really colorful. You can see mantas, lots of sharks. So it's a really, really great place to go. Let's see. Incredible biodiversity in Palau with over 1,500 species of fish. There's amazing reefs, like I mentioned earlier, and there's also really, really, really cool wrecks. Neighboring Truk is very famous for wrecks, but Palau has a lot of World War II wrecks that are amazing. And they even have a really cool seaplane, like you can see in that little picture there. Really, really unique. And it's only in, I believe, like 25 feet of water, really shallow, really cool plane. A lot of the World War II wrecks are also within recreational limits, so very easily diveable. There's even a cave called Chandelier Cave, which is really unique. And there's not one, not two, but at least 3 places where you can surface and you can breathe and you can take your wreck up. So it's really, really great. Palau is known for current, but it is also suitable for all levels of divers because you will not be fighting the current. Reef hooks were actually started in Palau. You go down, you hook into a reef, and you basically enjoy the show in front of you. Currents can be strong, but again, all you're doing is you're hooking into the reef and you're just enjoying all the sharks and all the marine life in front of you. Palau is very tropical, so the water is generally warm all year round. Visibility is generally good all year round, and it is diveable all year round. It's not like some other destinations where it's very seasonal. Palau is really an all year round dive destination. There's lots and lots and lots of dive sites in Palau. As you can see, it's pretty spread out. So even though you can do all the dive sites land-based, Some of the dive sites like over on this side at the Blue Corner and at Peleliu, it's a pretty long boat ride. But again, they are all accessible by land or preferably by liveaboard. There you go. Can everyone hear me now? Yes. Okay, great. Thanks. We talked a little bit about wrecks earlier. There's a lot of really, really cool wrecks in Palau. There are World War II wrecks. Some of them were sank. Most of them, I believe, was sank unintentionally. Like the seaplane over there, it took off trying to, I might get this wrong, trying to escape when the area was being bombed, and it fell into the ocean right after takeoff. No one died, but it's an amazing seaplane that everyone can dive. There are wrecks that have a torpedo hole at the bow, and you can actually swim through the torpedo hole. There's wrecks with a bunch of World War II artifacts in them still, like the helmet wreck, I believe. So there's a lot of really, really cool historical wrecks that we can dive. We talked a little bit about the cave as well, Chandelier Cave, which is a really cool dive site. You go over to the rock island and you look for the entrance of the cave, and you can see it because it's just a tiny little hole that's visible from the surface. But once you jump into the water, it opens up to a pretty wide opening. And once you swim through the opening, there's a massive cave system that you can swim through with multiple areas that you can pop your head up, take your rag out, breathe the air, pop your rag back in, go down again, and go to the next area. So it's a really, really, really cool cave to dive in. The main attraction, in my opinion, is the reefs. The reefs are very healthy because there's no fishing allowed. They've been protected for many, many, many years. And it's also a big, big area under protection. So the reefs are, again, very colorful. There's lots of marine life, lots of big schools of fish, mantas, lots of sharks. So it's a really, really good, healthy reef system in Palau. Some of the marine life that you can see includes, like I said earlier, manta rays, sharks, lots of turtles, eagle rays, lots of schooling fish like snappers, Napoleon wrasse. There's also mackerel for those of you who love mackerel. There's mandarin fish. There's nudibranchs, lots of shrimps. Night dives are really, really cool in Palau as well. And very famous, Jellyfish Lake. It's changed over the years, a little bit due to global warming, a little bit because of some droughts. Unfortunately, right now, there's not as many jellyfish as you see in the picture above. But it's still doable. But we're waiting for the population of jellyfish to come back. You can see in the top picture here, it's a little lake that is enclosed. And so all the jellyfish have lost their stingers. So it makes it safe for people for divers or swimmers to go swim with them and just enjoy this very, very, very unique ecosystem. Oops, let me go back. So at this point, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and I'm gonna hand it off to Nicole, who will talk a little bit more about Palau and about the black coral. And Nicole, you need to unmute.
Unmute.
There you go.
All right. All right. Thank you, Tim. So my name is Nicole. like Tim already mentioned, and I'm the sales manager for Pearl Fleet. We have two beautiful vessels. We have the Black Pearl in Palau, and we also have the White Pearl in the Maldives that will be starting next week. If you want to hear more about it, please get in contact with Tim or with us, like, to have more information on that one. So what we're going to talk about is our vessel, the Black Pearl, which the destination, of course, is in Palau. The itineraries that we offer, and also how we conducted diving in on the Black Pearl, our rates, how to get to Palau, and of course, if you have anything else, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Excuse me. Oh, why is it not going to the next page? Okay. So the Black Pearl is all of our vessels are specially crafted by divers, designed by divers. The owner was a little bit, he wanted to have a little bit more focused on luxury, and he couldn't find that in other boats, so he decided to build his own boats. So with the idea of ultimate relaxation, delicious food, of course. Also, our teams are very dedicated. We have them all over the world, not only in Palau and Maldives, but we are also, for instance, I'm in Bali. We have people in Singapore. We have people in the US. So we're from all over the place. And of course, we have very high service is our goal. So the Black Pearl was built in 2019, and it's basically the biggest boat that there is in Palau. She's 153 feet long and 28 feet wide, with a draft of 13 feet, 13.77. And we have two engines, Cummins engines. Don't ask me about engines, that's not my thing. Reverse osmosis water maker, and we dive from 2 aluminum tenders, as you can see in the picture. Like Tim was already saying, the season is basically all year round. Of course, there are times that the weather is a little bit rainy, but even if it is rainy, it's like a tropical rain, yeah. So you have rain, and then suddenly it's gone as quickly as it came, basically. So even in the wetter months, it is still perfectly fine to dive. The currents, they can be moderate to strong. How come we have very strong currents is that the waters are extremely deep. So we're very close to the Marianas Trench, so you can get some really strong currents. Luckily, it doesn't affect the water temperature too much on our diving depths. Luckily, we can dive, it's 80 to 86 Fahrenheit. That means, like, personally, when I was diving in Palau, I basically went in a rash guard and board shorts. After a few dives, you might get cold, so maybe a 3 mil wetsuit would be perfectly fine. But you don't need your 5 mils, leave them at home. The visibility is absolutely amazing, 65 to 130 feet. So yeah, it's a really great visibility throughout. Tim mentioned already a little bit about the dive sites. You were mentioning the Chandelier Cave, which is a really nice cave, which is actually closed. We also have a dive site called Blue Hole, or Blue Holes. There's actually a few holes on the top, and with a high tide, you can jump through the hole and down to the big window and basically swim out of a massive cave-looking place. It's really stunning. Also, it's famous for German Channel, so we have lots of mantas. We have cleaning stations. the beautiful thing is that they also have like the mating rituals that you can see sometimes if you're lucky. But they actually the cleaning stations is more reliable place to see the mantas. I wanted to mention the shark sanctuary. So Palau is one of the first places that had a shark sanctuary. So that means you can see sharks with every dive. No kidding. I've not been on a single dive. Okay, maybe Chandelier Cave, that you not see sharks. It's really, really spectacular. This is since 2009. This is why there are still so many. Jellyfish lakes. Tim also mentioned this one. Jellyfish Lake is full of the golden mastrias due to the hot water, which occurs like every few years. So this is a natural process that happens a few times. Like I remember I think is it 2009 or something like this, there was another like a heating of the jellyfish lake. All the jellyfish disappeared, and slowly they will return. So it is a natural phenomenon that this happens. So at the moment we are at the recovery stage. So there are jellyfish, but it's I wouldn't say that it is as the picture that Tim was just showing. It's not like that at the moment. The jellyfish are very small and nowhere near in the abundance as they will be hopefully in a year's time. We have 3 itineraries. The best of Palau. The best of Palau basically goes to all the famous dive sites like Blue Corner, Oolong Channel, Sayas Corner, Sayas Tunnel. It's also another fun tunnel to swim through. This is a little bit of a deeper dive, but you go through a tunnel, Bring It Light, which is also very spectacular. Then with the bumphead spawning, we have 2 spawning events. We have the bumphead spawning and the red snapper spawnings. They happen twice a month. So one is the new moon and one with the full moon. We basically cover the similar dive sites as we do with the best of Palau, but because of the tides and the moon, we can witness this amazing spawning. You can imagine that you have to dive early morning. There's a few days before the full moon or the new moon. We get up really early before the sun rises, and our guides know exactly when to jump. So you be sitting in the tender. We always dive off the tenders, and he'd be like, okay, now we go. So you jump in the water, and for about 45 minutes, you have a massive bowl of fish. And at some point, the fish will start to shoot up and basically releasing sperm and eggs into the water. So you can imagine in the beginning of the dive, you have beautiful visibility. But as you can see with the bumphead picture, the eggs and the sperm will actually make the visibility a lot less. So if you are a photographer, make sure to get your photos in quickly. A little bit about the
Nicole, those were the
Sure.
3 main routes of the boat, right?
Yes, those were the 3 itineraries for the boat. We do them usually 7 days, 7 nights, 8 days. But we have some trips that actually do a 10-night trip.
Do all the trips do German Channel for the mantas, or do the spawning trips skip that?
No, all of them they do. Yeah.
Okay.
So we cover all the major sites. So it's not like if we see the snapper, then you miss out on German Channel. No, there is actually some more places where we can see mantas, but German Channel is one of the more guaranteed. Never say guaranteed in diving, but
Got it.
Yeah.
Great.
So the Black Pearl has 11 cabins. at the moment, they're all twin cabins. We will actually do some refurbishing in October. This is planned for this October, 2023. The 2 master sea view cabins now are twins, but they will be queen beds. So the sea view cabins, we have 4 of those. They will be changed, interchangeable, so they can be either twin or double. Yeah, that's for the sea view cabins. The 5 deluxe cabins, they will stay the same as they are now. They're all twin cabins. I cannot see. This is the master cabin. I can't see on the top. The master cabin is very spacious. All of our cabins are very spacious, 194 square feet. So they're very big. As you can see, the master suite has massive windows. So you have lots of light coming in, and you have a beautiful view from the rock islands and the water. Each room has a safety deposit box, reading lights, international plugs. So I know that some have like the round plugs, and I think in the US you have like the long, we can fit them all in. So we make sure that we have international guests, so everyone can charge. We also have USB ports, so you can just charge on there, and all our cabins are air conditioned. I see that the picture of the bathroom, it is a clear, but we actually do have a curtain, because some people were a little bit worried that that people could walk past, and so we actually can close the windows with a curtain. All of them are en suite. All of our cabins have their own bathrooms. This is the... Oh, I went too far. Sorry, yes, the sea view. The sea view cabins. The sea view cabins still have a very big windows. They're also on the main deck. You will have, instead, the only thing that your difference with the master sea view is that it doesn't have the big couch, but you have a nice table there. Of course, it also has the deposit box, reading lights, plugs. So basically the same as all the cabins, USB charging and air conditioning. These ones are the deluxe cabins. They're 150 square feet. Also, we have ensuite bathrooms. We have a large porthole. Sorry about the typo over there. We have big portholes. So you still have plenty of some natural light. They're just not as big as the other rooms. Safety deposit box, reading lights. You see, it's still a very nice and big, spacious cabin. If you are not diving, we have some other entertainment that we can do during your surface intervals, or if you just want to skip a dive. We have some stand-up paddle boards. We have some kayaks. We also have a whirlpool, and I want to make clear that a whirlpool is different than a jacuzzi, because a jacuzzi apparently has hot water. A whirlpool does not. We do not have hot water in our whirlpool. Because hot water is, after diving, we don't want to increase the chances of decompression sickness. So, of course, we have cool water. Let's put it that way. We have plenty of space. We have restaurant, and we have a few bars on the Black Pearl. A large indoor restaurant and cocktail bar. We offer 3 delicious meals daily. On the deck, we also have a bar, so you don't have to walk upstairs or downstairs to get your drinks. We have Italian coffee, we have snacks all day, and we have complimentary tea and coffee throughout the day. A few other things, we have the common areas. We have some camera stations where you can set up your cameras, you can charge your cameras. Then we have the briefing room where you can just hang out and but this is usually where we do our briefings. Prices, they start from deluxe cabin. They start from 3,465 in the deluxe cabin, and the sea view cabin is 3,685, and the master sea view is 3,960 for the 7 nights. We also have 10-night trips, but not so many. Complimentary, we offer hot beverages like coffee and tea. You can use our kayaks and stand-up paddle boards. We have an SMB for every diver, and also reef hooks. If you've never dived with a reef hook before, our guides are perfectly happy to explain you how to do it. You don't want to unhook too early, so they will teach you how to use a reef hook. What is not mentioned here is we also offer complimentary nitrox. So if you are a nitrox diver, we have free nitrox. If you're not, we do offer courses on board. Extras would be travel from Palau airport to the vessel. We do offer free shuttle between the hotel and the boat. So, because most people actually arrive a day or two early, or they stay a few days later. So we pick people up from the hotel. We have rental equipment, 15-liter tank. We do have a manifold as well. So if people want to dive with twins, we do have them also for rent. Not standard in our services are sodas and juices, specialty coffees, alcohol, massage. Marine park and port fees, fuel surcharges. And then in Palau, we now have, since this year only, this started this year, they have a goods and services tax, which is 10% on anything purchased on board. Okay. How to get to Palau from US airport, from the US? Most people fly through LA, and from LA, actually, that's probably the next one. So you can fly from Los Angeles, Houston, Newark, to Guam via Hawaii, I believe. Here we have a better explanation. You can also fly to Manila. Manila has a 2-hour flight, and I think the flight from Guam is maybe 1 hour. It's not that long. Also, China Airlines has just started flying again. So you can fly from Taipei and a direct flight to Palau. The one that's not mentioned is Australia, is Papua New Guinea flies from Brisbane directly with a stopover in Port Moresby, also directly to Palau. We are still hoping that Singapore will start opening soon as well. So there will be more options to fly into Palau. We know that it's been a little bit frustrating for flights. Okay, small video.
And Nicole, are you going to talk about the seasons, like when to go or not go, or any of that?
Sure, I can. The season is, like we said before, is actually year round. It is wetter. They consider the wet season from June to November, but it is all year round. Some people prefer the early months of the year, so from I would say December, last month of the year, and then up to like April, May. Those ones are like high season, considered high season in Palau.
But the marine life is there all year, right? I mean, doesn't go anywhere, and there's no like real bad weather, right? I mean,
there's no real bad weather. No,
it's very good all year round.
Yeah, even if even the considered wet months are barely wet. It's like a rain that comes and goes very quickly. So it's very, that's why we dive it all year round. Yeah. We can customize itineraries. So if you think that you want to charter the whole boat for your group, that's totally possible. We can change the dates, dive sites, activities. We always recommend, if people come on board, so even if it's one of the 3 itineraries, the best of Palau, or one of the spawning trips, if people are like, oh, I really want to see so-and-so wreck or so-and-so dive site, I always recommend people to make that known to the cruise directors when you arrive, when you have like your talk about your dive experience and all this. Always say, because at the end of the trip we can't, and we didn't go, then we didn't know. Yeah. So please always let us know in the beginning of the trip, like, oh, this, I've heard about this dive site, are we going there? Yeah. We can organize activities like beach barbecue, beach activities, the cabins, which cabins you would like to have, or any special requests. So we can definitely customize our itineraries as well. That was my my talk.
Great. And someone was asking about the manta rays. Is there a certain time of the year where they're more likely, or is there any kind of like awesome time for mantas from your experience, more so than others?
Not really. They're all year round. Again,
Right.
thankfully, we're very lucky in Palau.
Yeah. I mean, my experience is mantas are, they don't really like migrate, right? I mean, usually where you see mantas, they're usually always there. It depends on their food. If their food is reliable, then they're always going to be at that spot. Or if they're cleaning fish, they're always going to go there to be clean. So
Yeah, what they do like, which is kind of a special thing from the Black Pearl, we have lights underneath our boats, so the water lights up. So I know in some places in the world they have that at night, that the mantas come, and we have noticed that they like our lights.
They
so
do that in Hawaii. The Kona,
Yes.
Hawaii, they really like the lights to feed on the plankton.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of a new thing for us, that they're coming to the boat and you can see them at night by our boat, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And then someone's asking about number of dives. It's the same all year, right? Like the number of dives offered on a 7-day trip doesn't change month by month at all, does it? No, I didn't think so.
No. We offer between 18 and 22 dive activities. This also includes the visit to Jellyfish Lake if people want to go. So at the moment, we let people decide beforehand if they would like to visit Jellyfish Lake, because it is not the same as you see in all the pictures. So we do ask people before.
Yeah.
But it's between 18 and 22.
Great. Do you have a picture of the camera tables? Does it show how big they are?
It does not really show how big they are. Oh, that is a bit. So you can easily.
Linda was asking.
If there's enough room, Scott, if a bunch of people are on board with cameras, is there plenty of room? If there's, a lot of folks with a lot of gear?
There is spaces. It depends if it's a full boat where everybody has a big camera, then I have to admit that there's not that much space, but we definitely, you can see there's space for 3 people here. This is probably for also 2 or 3. There are other areas where we can create a camera table or a setup. If you notice that there's not enough space, then we ask people to, again, talk to our cruise directors and they can help set up an area where you can set up gear.
So I would say for most trips, you're only going to have a few people or less than half with large cameras, and it seems like there's more than enough of space.
Yeah.
For for a normal trip. If we were gonna have like a photo trip where everyone has a big camera, I think we'd have to figure out some special arrangements ahead of time.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it would be done.
Yeah.
And Linda, you were also asking about diving with a camera with the currents and the reef hook, right?
Yes, I've never done that before, so I was just really curious if Tim or you have had experience with that, and how does that work?
I've done it, and you, it's all up to your own ability to control your rig and your own strength, and it's a skill that you might attain one day or not. I don't, you know, I've seen people do okay with it, and I've seen people do poorly at it, so I don't want to. I have no idea how you would do, but it's
So most people, even with the big rigs, they tend to, because the last thing you want to do is lose your camera. I think that's one of the biggest things. So they clip it onto their BCD. So even if you would let go, it will kind of like trail behind you, but at least you don't lose it. I think that we don't jump in with like high speed currents on the first few days when you're diving with your rig. So we do try and have a little bit of a build up when possible. So you have the chance to learn, if you wish, how to handle your gear quickly. So you jump in the water, grab a gear and go. So I think people, like some people can, and some people need a little bit more practice, but I have faith.
I was
Yeah.
I was curious about, you know, leave the strobes and just do ambient lighting, particularly with the current, you know, that kind of thing. But I would assume that's more a question for you or Nearpalm or someone that's had experience with that.
I mean, most photographers do end up getting comfortable with current, and they do learn how to manage it on a reef hook.
Mhm.
And you do want the strobes to light up the colorful fish, or even the color of any corals in the area. So so most people do end up managing it once you have a little bit of practice. And keep in mind, it's not like every dive, every minute you're in strong current. You sort of learn like how to get behind rocks and how to get in positions to take shots. So it just all comes with a little practice.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And you'll see in the comments, a lot of people in the chat have mentioned that it's not that big of a deal for them. So I think it's just some practice. But Nicole, someone was asking if you could review the routes again, the ways to get there, the flights.
Oh, the flights?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll go here, yeah. So from Newark, you can fly directly to Guam, and from Guam to Palau. Yeah. Then from Houston, you can fly directly to Hawaii, Guam, Palau. There is also from Los Angeles, from Newark also to Narita, so in Japan. And then from there, you can fly to Guam to Palau.
Great. George, is this what you wanted to see? I guess that's a yes.
Yeah. So from LA, there's a little bit more options. You can fly to Taipei, and from Taipei to Palau. This option, this route seemed to be cheaper. This option is cheaper than the option with United. So with China Airlines is usually a little bit cheaper. Then also from LA, you can go to Narita, and then Guam, Palau, Hawaii, Guam, Palau. So, and you can also fly from Manila. I'm not sure the direct flights to Manila from the US. People tend to go this way instead of going to Manila and then kind of like flying back to Palau.
And then Brenda, you were having a question about last minute specials.
So
honestly,
I can actually take that question. Nicole, can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
before
just-
Tim gives his answer, I would say that if anyone ever wants a last minute special, contact us at Bluewater Travel, because we usually can, if they're available, often get like unpublished or unadvertised last minute specials. Sometimes a boat may want to sell a few last minute spots and not advertise it. So that's true of any boat. Usually if we have a good partner like the Black Pearl and we say, hey, do you guys got a spot? We have a good customer who wants to go last minute at a discount, we can get you a deal. So I would suggest Brenda or anyone just letting us know if you want to be a last traveler, and we'll find you a very good deal. Yeah. Tim, go ahead.
So we actually do have a special right now with the Black Pearl. So thanks for asking that question, Brenda. We do have $300 off if you book by the end of August for travel by the 20th of September. It is on our website. And feel free to just go to bluewatertravel.com. If you can't find it at the bottom here, there's the little chat function, just click it and you can check with any of our agents and you ask them about the special on the Black Pearl to Palau, and they'll pull it up for you right away.
Awesome. Nicole, do you allow charging in the rooms on the boat?
Yes, that's a good question. I believe we do let people charge in their rooms.
Okay, great. Joel had that question. So
I'm gonna
also
check on that.
Heather wanted to know, just if someone who's never used a reef hook before, can you just give a simple explanation on what it is?
Absolutely. Yes, we tell with the very first time that people are going to use their reef hooks on a dive, we will tell you exactly how to do it, when to expect to pull out your reef hook. So have it ready when we're reaching the reef, and how to hook onto the reef. What you need to do, you need to inflate your jacket. Which is a little bit against everything we learned. You fully inflate your jacket, and then you basically fly above the reef, which is wonderful. And you have a big show right in front of you. It's really great. So, but yes, we do explain, and if we need more explanations, no problem. Also, we help people if we see that people, especially first time with cameras, that they're struggling, our dive guides will keep an eye on you and will help you hook in case you need some assistance.
Great. A couple of people had brought up in the chat that, you know, from North America, Guam and Manila is definitely two of the easier ways to get there. And Deborah pointed out that if you go through Manila, there's lots of quick diving options if you want to do a little diving in the Philippines before or after Palau, especially if you really want to get all the amazing macro and critters that there's not as much of as in Palau. That Manila gives you that added benefit. So
yeah, definitely.
Awesome. And then we have another question from Michelle, who wanted to know, is the reef hook required or is it just completely optional?
On some of the sites, I would say they are required. We have them on board for you. Yeah.
So
like
not all
Bluewater with
sites, just certain sites that have a very strong current to make sure everybody can stay together, right?
Yes. Like Blue Corner, for instance, if there is the good current running where you have lots of action, you definitely don't want to be holding on to a reef. That we never really want to hold on to a reef. This is the whole reason why they started the reef hooks actually in Palau, is we don't want to damage the reef. So the reef hook is actually better than when people holding on with their bare hands. Big hands holding on to the reef. Also, you don't want to grab in things that you shouldn't be touching, right?
Yeah. And Nicole, someone's wondering, does the boat have any strict requirements for a cert level or number of dives? Or is it just recommendations?
It is a recommendation of 50 dives, an advanced certification or 50 dives. We don't have it very strict, so you can come with less dives because there are dive sites where you can work your way up to it. Yeah.
Okay, got
We
it.
do ask you to let us know though, because you may need to have some extra, care.
Yeah. Linda Sneed, did you have a question? I saw your hand was up.
Yeah, it's actually Lance. I'm not typing a bunch of stuff in.
Oh, hey, Lance.
So I just have a couple questions to ask. So we've never used reef hook either, and you've answered a lot of questions about that. But you say there's wrecks and there's a lot of nice coral. How do you view coral and dive wrecks with a reef hook?
Thank you. Good question. Actually, we don't use the reef hooks on the wrecks. So the reef hooks are purely when we are diving in very strong currents and we want to stick in one area. Oolong Channel, excuse me. Oolong Channel, for instance, in the beginning of the channel, in the mouth of the channel, it's the sharks will come in front, and you want to hang out there for a little bit before you actually go inside the channel. So we don't use the reef hooks the whole dive. You use it once, maybe twice on 2 areas, but you don't use it during every dive. And where the currents are very strong, where we hook in, the corals are not as fluorescent as because they can't grow there. So you won't be able, you're not getting your reef hook inside the reefs. No, you're not killing the reef. It's
Okay,
rocks that you
right.
hook on. Yeah.
Right. That's clear to me. And I thought that might be the case, but we've never done it. And so everybody's talking about reef hooks.
Oh,
and
good
so
question.
I'm wondering if are the currents stronger certain times of year, or is it always pretty much the same?
I would say they're stronger with like a full moon, then the
Okay.
currents are stronger, but like throughout the year, it's similar. It's more throughout the month that can be a bit stronger during a full and a new moon. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. We said 7 nights. How many dive days are there?
So the first day we don't dive
Okay.
because you'll be arriving. We do the pickup. We basically have a back-to-back schedule. So people leave in the morning and then we have people arriving in the afternoon. So the first
we've done
first
Liveaboard,
day
so
is
it's the
just
same.
yeah. So it's 6 diving days, and the last day of diving is the day before departure. And we generally do 2 dives, depending if there's people need to fly. Because sometimes people like to fly back on a Tuesday. Our trips are at the moment from Wednesday to Wednesday. So sometimes they fly the night before. We can also arrange that. So they miss 1 night and they miss 2 dives.
Okay. I think that's all that I have.
Great.
Thank you.
Another question, Nicole. Do you know, well, first of all, I'm pretty sure that I know all the wrecks that you would normally do on a trip are within recreational limits, right?
Correct. Yes.
How
Yeah.
many on average would you do different wrecks on the standard itinerary?
We probably do about 4 wrecks. Then the seaplane. Yep.
Okay.
So the helmet wreck is recently they closed it because it's not good to dive anymore. So
Got
the
it.
helmet wreck is now out. So the one inside the port in Malacca, that one is, we don't dive it anymore.
Yeah. And then someone was asking us if we offer if you book through Bluewater Travel, we definitely have discounts for non-diving spouses for a non-diver. Just contact us at Bluewater Travel, and we'll get you a different price for the non-diver. For the non-diver. And George wanted to know if you were closer to the Palau Pacific Resort at the beginning or the end of the cruise?
We Palau Pacific
Same
Resort.
place, right?
It's actually, we have to pick you up from the with the, I think we're doing in car. Yeah, we pick up by car. So we don't pick you up from the from the dock from Palau Pacific Resort. The
Yeah.
Palau Pacific Resort is basically on the same distance on the way in and out. The
Yeah.
Palau Royal Resort is much closer. Royal Resort, the Cove Hotel, a Cove Resort, and Sea Passion is very close to the port.
Nice. And Valerie was asking if Bluewater Travel has like a loyalty program, and I would say that we have a new perk program for our repeat guests that we're just rolling out. And then someone was asking if there's bull sharks or tiger sharks in Palau. I don't think they're seen very often, right? Or are they?
Yeah, actually, we see them with the spawning trips. So
okay.
then there's a big chance of seeing bulls. We've seen silver tips even. There's big sharks come when the spawning happens.
So
it's a big feeding frenzy.
So how frequently, like if you go on a spawning trip, what do you think the chances to see a tiger or a bull shark on that one particular trip? Like you see most of them or just occasionally?
I wouldn't say you see them always, but
Okay.
there's a good chance of seeing them.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So there's
The ones I've done.
the-
The ones I've done is usually yes.
Yeah, got it.
But-
So they're seen quite frequently on the spawning trips.
Yeah.
Because the spawning trips attract like a lot of predators.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Bob was asking about a snorkeler. How would a snorkeler enjoy the trip if they cannot dive?
So a snorkeler, the thing in Palau is that when any water activity, diving or snorkeling, we need to have a guide in the water. So snorkeling is luckily very good in Palau because the reefs, especially the walls, they come up quite high. So you can do some really good snorkeling. The spawning dives is not for snorkeling, for instance. So there are definitely dive sites that it's like, no, we cannot do. So we will try and accommodate the snorkelers as much as possible. But we always have to have the majority is of course the divers. So if it's a few people, it's better. So if you're the only one, it might be a bit harder.
I mean, this comes up a lot, and if somebody contacts us at Bluewater Travel to book a trip and one of the people is a snorkeler, we would figure out if there's other snorkelers on the trip and if there has to be like a certain charge to make sure you have a dedicated dive master. That's what I would recommend, and we would figure out what that charge was, and I don't think it would be prohibitive or anything. We would make it happen. We'd figure out how to make it happen because that comes up a lot. Yeah. By the way, Debbie wanted to know about vegetarian diets. Are there always vegetarian options? I would assume yes, but
yes, we do have vegetarian options. So of course, they will try and make you the nicest dishes. Yeah, no problem.
Also, Tim put in the chat a link to one of his trip reports from Palau. And let me see. Are there any more questions? Did I miss any questions? Or do people have, and you can stop your share, so the screen, Nicole, so we can
Oh, am I
see.
still sharing? I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
How does that? Okay, sorry. Technical issues.
Just find the stop share somewhere.
Yeah.
No,
I think
I
it's probably
believe that is
hidden
my
on the
screen,
top.
Scott.
What's that?
I believe that is my screen, the Palau giveaway.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to let everyone know that because you were at this presentation at our travel talk, you will receive one additional entry into our free trip on the Black Pearl in Palau. The drawing will be on the 31st of July. So we will make a big announcement on who gets to go on the Black Pearl in Palau. For those of you that join us on Facebook, if you go to our page, unfortunately, the raffle dates are closed. But all you have to do is go to our webpage, click on the little chat function, and let one of our agents know that you attended our Palau webinar, and we will enter you into the raffle for the drawing for the Black Pearl. So that's why I had this up, and now I can shop there.
Awesome. Any other questions? If you're interested in booking this boat or going to Palau or anywhere, we have an amazing exclusive best price for the Black Pearl. You'll get a very special deal that you won't get anywhere else, and they will really take care of you. Make sure you're treated as a VIP guest. And Tim, Nicole, really thank you for an awesome presentation.
Thank you.
We will be doing the raffle. Tim, we're doing the raffle very soon, right? In like a couple days?
We're doing the raffle at the end of the month.
Yeah,
soon.
couple
Yeah.
couple days, very soon. It's great to see so many people on the webinar. So really, thank you for all the excellent questions. And who's excited about going to Palau? Speak up. I want to hear who's interested. Who wants to go?
We're excited.
you
We
wanna
just
go,
don't know
right?
when. We're excited, but we don't know when.
Yeah.
I will say this, Tim has been very helpful. We've had 3 trips with him already, and Tim has been very helpful to Lynn and I every time we want to go.
And he's
Thank
very
you.
responsive. I email him all the time and he is great about getting back. So I appreciate that.
Thanks. And so are all of our agents. So everyone just feel free to reach out to us. Email, just go to our website. Our chat function is very good. We usually have an agent to answer your questions 24/7. So if you're interested in going to Palau, anywhere, anytime, just reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to help you. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. And thank you, Nicole, for joining us as well. I know
Thank
it's
you for
early
having me.
Take
All right.
care, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.